Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Colton Moore. It's an absolute honor to follow up Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm from a constituent of hers. I'm from Lookout Mountain, Georgia, Dade County, the most northwest part of her district and the entire state. I'm running for state senate there. And I just listened to Marjorie's speech just like you did, and she had to tell you something that's never reported in the news. Everyone in the news likes to criticize the Congresswoman, says she's not effective. Well, she reminds me of a person who used to be the congressman in Northwest Georgia, and many of you older folks probably know who that is, and that was Congressman Larry McDonald. Larry McDonald was constantly criticized in the media. You can get on YouTube now, and if you look at any videos about Larry McDonald, the media was always saying, folks, we don't think that you, Mr. McDonald, are being effective. And he always said, being effective at what? He said increasing spending, increasing taxes, increasing regulation. He said if that's the definition of being effective, I don't want to be effective. But I tell you what, there was no more effective congressman at the time. And right now, there is no more effective congresswoman than Marjorie Taylor Greene for the United States of America. Because one thing that politicians always like to talk about are all the great things that they're going to do for you. But probably the most important thing right now is what are you going to stop for us? Because the liberals are running strong, but it doesn't take much to stop them, as we saw in that calling for a roll call vote. If you go back in history, this has reoccurred a couple times. Theodore Roosevelt, when he was a state assemblyman in New York, after serving 2 terms, he became the speaker. And the reason why he became the speaker is because when he got to that office, he realized the only way he was going to be effective was at the procedure. Calling for the roll call votes, calling the different parliamentary questions. Folks, I served as a state representative from 2018 to 2020. Now, my occupation is an auctioneer. And I commonly joke that auctioneers and politicians, we talk fast and take people's money. But now I like to think I'm effective on the auction block at taking people's money. But what I love doing in elected office is stopping the spending of people's money. In my term in the State House, I was one of 2 Republicans, myself and Representative Matt Gertler, to say no to this omnibus budget. All those people, we heard Timothy Barr earlier come up and say that those sharks would come and attack whenever you decided you were going to stand up to leadership, and by George, they did. But it takes courage to say, I represent my people and not you, Mr. and Mrs. Leadership. In Georgia, we have an omnibus budget. We have subsidies in that budget. We have funding for police officers in that budget, funding for roads in that budget. But when you vote no against it, those weak Republicans come after you. And folks, let me tell you what, the liberals, those Democrats that are destroying our country and our state, they love nothing more than weak Republicans. I ask that you hold all those elected officials accountable that come up here. I want you to start asking politicians this: what are you doing to stop the bad legislation? Thanks for telling me all the great things that you're going to do. I love to hear that, but tell me what you're going to do to stop it. When people talk about being effective, when I ran for state office, there was not one piece of successful legislation that came out of my district, District 1, in 10 years. I defeated a 10-year incumbent. And people said, Colton, you're not going to get anything done either, especially when you're voting no to name the Judicial Center after Nathan Deal, the supposed simple justice of Georgia. Oh, you just signed a resolution asking the Speaker of the House to resign. You're not going to be effective. Folks, my legislation when I came in there was constitutional carry. People didn't think you had a snowball's chance and you know where. Folks, it's about to become law. I'm getting the red card to go up. I asked that you go to my website, coltonmoore.com, to find out more information. If you live in Northwest Georgia, I would appreciate your vote and your influence. Folks, thank you for being here today, because we get the type of government we deserve, and if we don't get involved in it, we don't deserve very much.